Okay, I just saw you playing out there, and you look real good. Who are you?
Well, I'm Mrs. Gankisa. I'm the best footballer point ever see.
Oh, really? You, you know any of the older players who play here in Point?
Well, I know Warren Archibald, Leroy Dillion.
Stop. You know me? Boy, I was the best striker, the best forward that this country ever seen.
Oh, Wilfred K.
Boy, I'm Steve David, boy.
Welcome to another edition. This is Field of Dreams on Axe Television Network. My name is Steve David and I'm your host. Today we talk football as we always do, and viewers, I've got legends, real legends in football for you today that would take us through all the ups and downs that they've been through in Trinidad football. I need to take time to introduce these four legends. Over to my right, down on the end, I've got Alvin Cornell. Alvin played football, cricket, and everything else for Trinidad and Tobago. And welcome, Alvin. Welcome to the set.
Thank you very much, Steve. I really appreciate you.
Glad to have you. Next to Alvin, I've got Edgar Vidal, who did yeoman's work for Trinidad football as a player, as a coach, and what else, Edgar?
Well, talk about cricket.
And cricket. Welcome.
Oh, it's a very great pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right. And to my left, I've got far end, Wilfred Cave. Wilfred is bound to score Cave, and Wilfred, like the name explains who he is. He scores every game he plays on and non-stop. Wilfred, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good. And I've got Narada Wilson. Narada is a legend in what he does. Narada is an agent, of course. Extraordinary, right?
It's a pleasure to be here as well.
And welcome. Okay. Guys, Alvin and Edgar and Wilfred played with me, but Alvin and Edgar and these guys. When I saw you guys play football, when I used to come, get my 3-pack of China for 5 cents and sit down by the fence and look at football. And I used to say, wow, you guys were bigger than life to me. And then I was hoping that when I get my opportunity, I could match what you guys have done. And I felt like when we did get our opportunity, myself and Wilfred and Leroy Dillion and Warren Archibald, we did bring the bar up to your standard, or even try to even push it further. What do you think now? Do you think our present generation keeps raising the bar like we did, or do you think that football is just in the stagnant downward slide?
Well, before you go that far, I'd like to say thank you for having me here, Steve. And in the same way that you may have looked at us, we've looked at you as you grew. And we've learned to appreciate and understand what good footballers are about. Wilfred Cave, we've got a lot in common.
Right.
I've played against him a number of times, much to my disgust. He happened to get a goal almost every time he played. And of course, Edgar, who has been playing with me for a long time. And in truth and fact, over the years, it is a tremendous experience to understand the transition of Trinidad and Tobago's football from not only our days, even the days before me, and Shea Seymour and Len Legard and these guys, the standard was really phenomenal, not only from our point of view, from our visitors' point of view. I remember quite easily the days of Chelsea and Wolves and these teams coming here, Arsenal, right? And then I remembered even your era when Nautico came here. I remember that was one of the games that you had a really tremendous game. And of course, I've been with Wilfred on a number of occasions. The transition is difficult to explain, simply because of the fact that we never looked inferior in good company. And I'm talking about even when the Trinidad and Tobago team went to England, they played exceptionally well. Then 6 years later, there was a West Indies team going to England, and we played reasonably well. And now as you look down the road, Steve, I don't know if it was a transition because players went to play professionally, you among them, Leroy de Leon and Archibald and this lot. And it left us with a certain level of amateurism, something where players could not adjust to situations on the field. The new players, there was a transition between the club level and the national level. It never fitted well. Some of the guys we gave great praise to as schoolboy footballers or club footballers came into the national team and just couldn't cut it. These are the problems that existed in those days. Whatever the reasons were, I think that the standard went well for a long time. The 74 team was a brilliant team, the one that went with Edgar. And the year straight after that, you went to the Central American Games with them and got a silver medal, I think it was. And they went on. But as you went further on, there were still the good players, but there weren't the good performances. Now, when I say so, it does not mean that the players were bad players, because you can't talk about Everett Cummins as bad players. Those were tremendous players. Whatever had its transmission deficiency in there was always difficult to understand. I was coaching at that time, and you can see it, you had to work harder, but we didn't get the sort of, when guys left St. Benedict's and St. Mary's and QRC and they came and they were ready for a national team. Right. Now that transition's gone. You look at a team now and you want to know, well, what could these schoolboys do for us? Unfortunately, I'm not being unkind, I'm generalizing.
Yeah.
Right.
But and it pays to be old sometimes, because I've seen it from a long time coming back.
Right, right.
I saw the guys who played at college, the Bobby Sukrams, the Henry Quanvies, these guys played when they were in school. And they came into national and they interleague teams and the national team like nobody's business. It does not happen anymore. And they still have the youth development programs, which really and truly should have escalated them to a higher level. I don't like these discussions. I'll tell you why, because the first thing fans are going to say, oh, you don't like the youngsters. And really and truly, it's far from that. Because I run an academy to develop youngsters. I want them to do better. I want them to be better than us, Steve. I don't just want them to be good. I want them to be better than us. But whatever has happened there remains a mystery, simply because of the fact that nobody does anything like surveys. Nobody looks back and say, why did this happen and why did this not happen? Why could Steve David have left here and go to play between people like Georgie Best and that lot and play as well? And today we can't get them even to fit into a decent team in the outside world. It is amazing, and it is very difficult to understand. Maybe Edgar is maybe a few years older than me. Maybe Edgar, you could find out that.
Remarkable way to start it. To start it off, I must say that I began my football in the North, unknown to many people, many of my supporters in the South. And like Alvin, we played for the same team in minor league in Aranguez, and I look back at it, and yes, Alvin is right. I think even not the problem, it is the reason that we were allowed to develop and create ourselves when we were growing up, there was no coaching. You go to the savannah and you play. You just play. Right. And you could see skills, you could see talent coming out from that type of organization, if you can call it that. I want to believe that perhaps the coaching has become a little too sophisticated, and some coaches, and I blame some of the coaches, they dictate to the players too early what they should do and what they shouldn't do, and in so doing, they sort of kill the creative instincts of young players.
They don't allow them to express
themselves.
They don't
allow them.
Yeah, okay.
So that when they get into college, as they were saying just now, the college coaches now want to win, and that makes it even worse. So they demand that these young players do what they say. You know, even, you know, I've listened to some of them during games on the sideline, and I'm amazed, you know. They are telling young players what to do from the bench. You know, sometimes before they get possession of the ball, the coach is telling them what to do with it. So I think that has been one of the things. I agree that we probably start organized coaching, perhaps a little late. Up to recently, I saw a program, a national program, where it was advised that they should start from 12 years. Well, that's really too late. Alvin will tell you that because he has been to countries like the United States. United States, who I'm sure you all agree, the players do not have the natural instinct and ability as all players at that age. Right. But the technical ability is already coming on. And that is another area that I would want to see modern day coaches develop. Okay, so that we allow players to develop their own creativity in organized situations, perhaps a little more sophisticated than when we played. You know, we organize our own games, you know, at 6, 7, 8 years, up to 10, 12-year-old. And then when the coaching come in, as I think they should do now, organize the same type of practices in a more sophisticated way, you know. I think around that age, 8, 9, 10 years, we started really concentrate on the technical aspects of the game. Because up to about 3 years ago, 2 years ago, and I must say this, after the coming of Mr. Hart, our ability to keep possession of the ball was always was a non-thing. Mm-hmm. You know, anybody could do it. You could keep possession of the ball when you're in your own defense and nobody coming at you. Right. But from the time our team 2 years ago got into the middle of the midfield, they couldn't keep it three passes. Give it back. Right. And I tried to analyze this, and there were two particular techniques that I saw missing. One was the receptive ability, the skills of reception, and two was the passing, technical aspect of passing. I remember some time ago speaking to Alvin that coaches dictate to the players, the young players, you know, like the English coaches did to us. I think they have to destroy our game. You must pass the ball with the inside of the foot. And the new idea was, hey, you want to pass into that part of whatever part of your foot you want, but make sure it goes where you want it to go. Mm-hmm. And a simple thing as that, to me, was one of the things that stopped our players from being able to keep possession of the ball because they are predictable. Right. You know, we all know that if you're going to pass the ball with the inside of the foot, the whole body tells the opponent what they're going to do. Whereas if you learn up to now, some of our players cannot do it, play the ball with the outside, because that is unpredictable. You get straight at the player and you can play any side of him without him knowing, and that is one of the aspects that we lack. Out of the blue, I don't know what type of philosophy Mr. Hart uses, because obviously not only technical practices or methods that he's used, but he's gotten these fellas to understand that this is what is necessary in our game to go higher. Mm-hmm. And I am pleased to see that aspect of the game has really improved, and the national football team has improved as a result of that aspect of it. So, you know, coaches looking at Trinidad and football, the Trinidad and Tobago football team play, see if we could learn something from that. Of course, we could call other teams like Barcelona, who are masters at ball possession, and see where that got them. Obviously, All the players have good footwork, have skill, they have technique, but the technique is the thing, and the receptive skills, you know, is what I think we should be working on.
So you think that the players now have all the ability that the players back then had? It's only now it's trying to come out. They're trying to express themselves in the way that they need to.
That's right. Yeah.
Willow, what do you think about that, buddy?
I want to agree with Alvin and Edgar. But my thing is that in our time, we used to have these fellas as role models. I remember playing as a little fella playing with a line. Right. And I am calling myself, I'm Alvin Cornell.
Right.
Edgar Vidal.
Right.
I remember this boy, Skerrett.
Oh, good.
I remember Skerrett as one thing. And, you know, Clive Niles, this one, you're calling names. You want to be that person, right? Now, you don't find that it have any role models. The fellas don't want to be
nobody.
Nobody. You understand?
I wanted to be Pelé.
Right.
I didn't want to Alvin Cornell.
No, well, no, I was always local. I was always local.
Okay.
So, you know, I always look up at these fellas and think, well, all right, this is it. These are the fellas, you know, you learn to do things just like how you think. And I'm seeing it now. We don't have any role model that these fellas could look up to, you know. And I think that is keeping us back plenty. So, you know, we need to start to get some role models, you know, and think. I quite agree with Edgar when he said that coaches trying to let you learn to pass the ball one way, and you know.
Want to tell you what to do.
These are things. One of the other little fella, the first man I see score from a corner kick is Alvin.
Right.
You know, I mean, I saw a lot of good football. As a little fella, I used to be on the Shell bus because my father was transport, and, you know, the bus had to pick me up to go and see the big games, you know. So I saw good footballers, and I think
we did.
Yeah, I benefited from that.
Yeah, those guys were bigger than life. I never thought we could even match what they produced. So, I see you shaking your head, Narada, and something makes you shake your head. What is
because I think I've sat here quite a couple times speaking with the greats and the legends, and I think with the three persons here, I have to agree. Mr. Cave, you hit it the nail on the head. I always said that today our players are too far-fetched for the younger ones to think about. So they see them on TV, but they don't believe that they came from the same environment or surroundings that they went through.
Right.
But you look at the developed countries, and kids there could say, you know, somebody from Chelsea or Barcelona, they've had some sort of interaction with them some point in their life, whether it was in school or just on the street or whatever. Our players, when they reach to that level, they never come back. So a kid today cannot sit down and say he would like to be like somebody who is on the national team today. When you guys speak, you speak of the generation before, the generation that played with you and the one that is to come. Mm-hmm. Yet today I can't sit down with people around me and ask them to name 20 players from the last 10 years that inspired them over their football career. And that is a shame that they can't remember games from 94, a game from right in 2000. To agree with Mr. Cornell and Mr. Vidal as well, the philosophy of football in Trinidad we've lost. And I found it in Brazil because I studied in Brazil and worked over there. And the thing is, the Brazilians, up until a particular age, people don't know, but Neymar never touched grass football until he was a particular age. It was futsal, where it's creative. And just like you're saying with the passing or the ball and stuff like that, I spoke to guys about, you know, some little simple education of football. In university, when we did football, there was 6 passes of football. Inside the foot, instep, outside. And they would give you a simple description. Now, not saying that every footballer needs to sit down in a class and learn that. But the reality is, they know 6 different passes that could be made for the ball to, because a pass is simply the movement of a ball from one person to the another in an advancing play. If you use the outside, the inside, and that is why the Brazilian perfects the 3 pass on the outside of the boot, the inside, the instep. But in Trinidad, when I go to football games and the goalkeeper has the ball, I always tell people, The left back is going to drop back. He's going to play it square to him. He's going to put it back on the inside, and then you go. Every football game in Trinidad does that. Right. Just as you said, the coaches have instilled a fear into our players from being creative. So today we cannot sit down. You would have said Steve David was fast on the right. This one was fast on the left. Who in the midfield was going to dribble past 2-3 people? I can't name a player on our recent teams that I would say I am going to the stadium to watch that guy, and I'm bringing friends because I know he's going to dribble past 6 people at the game. They're all machine-type players today. And we're not realizing that the countries that used to play machine-type football have now stopped. Because Germany, as much as you would say it's a systemized form of football, their striker is a 6-foot-something player that could run 100 meters in probably 11 or 12 seconds, and he could dribble the ball just as any other player with a lower center of gravity. So I think it's really that we've lost but what is benefiting our team today, I believe, just to agree with Mr. Cornel, is that a lot of our players are now going to the developing countries. So you're seeing them going to Central America, South America. So now they're getting a different type of football. And it's probably that is encouraging them now to break what they've learned over the years in Trinidad and to now look at different styles that they're learning outside. And now it's coming together in a team where everyone is more or less in a developing country playing football, where they could take risks, and the risks are proven, beneficial today.
We're going to take a break now, but when we come back, Alvin and Edgar and Wilfred, I want you guys to think about this. What do you think is the cause of the breakdown in us moving forward, or the breakdown in exactly what you guys discussed? Why can't we continue on like we had in the past and make this happen? We'll be right back after.
Worldwide Safety Consultants Limited offers solutions to your immediate and future potential problem areas by providing you with a qualified team of safety consultants. Worldwide Safety Consultants Limited, building a reputation on quality and value since 1999. Located 23 Todd Street, San Fernando, Trinidad. Phone 868-657-1534 or 868-788-6955. worldwidesafety@yahoo.com.
So welcome back, viewers. You're watching Field of Dreams, and this is Axe Television Network. We had a good discussion during the break. And guys, like I said before the break, what caused the downfall? Is it the structure that we destroyed, the good structure that we were talking about in the break about the leagues and the different things, or is it the lack of too much coaching that making us lose the ability to figure the game out ourselves? What do you think?
But I really admired what the young man said about the understanding of the game and things that we do. We got to remember that in our era, there was no coach. My coach started in 1959 when I went to the West Indies team to England. We had Noel Pouchet, who was just starting our national program. So we had to understand the game a lot more to play it. We didn't have an age group factor. When you got into the national team, you could be 16, 17 because there was no youth football. So we had to learn the tough way. We had to do things that would make us better players. Sometimes our best coaches were our opponents, people who stopped us from doing things. Mm-hmm. And we had to create something else to become successful. Unfortunately, the transition into coaching, it came at the right time, but it came in the wrong way. Edgar mentioned about the English system. My first English coach was a guy called Jimmy Hill, who died about a month ago. He was the first coach that came here in 1954 when the England team came here, and with people like Brian Clough and Gil Langley and that sort of. Those guys taught you about the game, whatever age you are. They thought about the system of the game and what they need to do. They never dealt with the basic fundamentals that Edgar was talking about, the simple facility of passing. Those were the attributes of a great footballer. You can collect the ball and you can pass it. If you can't pass the ball, you can't play the game.
Right.
All the international coaches tell you the same thing. We went through that period where people were fitting into the coaching position but could not contribute to the development of the player. And there is where the players began to struggle. And I want to tell you, Steve was asking Edgar just now, yes, we do have players today who probably have the same type of ability that we have. They don't know how to use them. They don't know the time and the place to use them. Look at how many of our young players, and I look at the Pro League as well, they want to dribble in center field. They want to take the ball and make 2 and 3 dribbles. If you can dribble good enough, center field is not the place for it. Right. Outside the box, Steve could say that. Outside the box. I don't want you to know what dribble I can in center field. I want you to know when I do it to you, you must be surprised. But nobody stops them. The fact that they are doing it so often means that the coaches see nothing wrong with it. Now, I don't want to fall into the category of coaching. The coaches are trying. The coaches are trying. We can talk now in hindsight because we're both international coaches for many years. And we can talk about it. And we hope that it is taken in the context that we are saying it.
Right.
Because we want to see our national team. There's nothing wrong with Jovan Jones as compared to anybody else. These players are tremendous players. But Jovan Jones, and I'll take him because I love him as a kid, as a player, he does not realize that the more he stays on the side of the field, it will be the less opportunity to play because the line is right at your side there. If you've got that kind of skill, come inside. Give yourself 10 yards away from the line. When you go there, nobody's there. So therefore, you can use your skill in there. And these are some of the things that will make our national players be better like that. But I think they do not understand. They are so listening to the coach. They're so listening to the coach. Sometimes the coach is coaching a concept, and we need to understand that. How many times you guys play the game and a coach said something to you, particularly when they're now coming in, and say, hey, okay, I've heard you, but that doesn't mean I'm not trying mine. Right. Today, we are robotic. The coach says to do so and so, do it. They become very robotic, and because of this, what happens, Steve, and when I say it, I think you'll understand, particularly as strikers, the coach wants the player to play the ball in a particular way. The mind of this player is, I'm going to create a way because I can see what's happening. The game is a moving game. It's not a static game. So if I start moving in this direction, it is clear that if the opposition takes to going there, somebody is going to run over there. Yeah. Because they know that is my signal for the next pass. But when the coach comes and he says, listen, if you're passing over there, watch it and pass it, that's predictable. That's what you were saying. And that is what retards the progress of development. And I think that we're still in the transition of teaching our coaches. We should pay so much attention to that. I have said it on numerous occasions. How do you want to play a game at the highest level, World Cup, at all levels, age groups, and you don't get around to teaching your coaches at the highest standard possible? A guy puts on a tracksuit and he goes and he's a coach. He's a school coach. He's teaching our kids who 3 years' time will play in the national team. Come on, let's grow up as a people. And these are the things that matter.
I'm glad you mentioned about Jovan because I like Jovan as well.
Oh, yeah,
but I think people like Keon Daniel, who was before
another
Jovan,
one, yes,
just like him,
yeah,
he should be in Jovan ear. But we don't do that. We don't have the transition.
Yeah, it is sad simply because of the fact. And you know what? We are in an environment here where we're talking about it. We should be able to share it to these people.
Right.
This is education as far as I'm concerned. I learned. For 20 years I've been a coaching instructor with FIFA, coaching coaches all across the world. And the same thing happens in a lot of cases. It happens in a lot of cases. Edgar was talking about Barcelona. Yes, Messi is great, Neymar is great. They don't dribble in the middle of the field.
Right.
You see first-time football like nobody's business, and all of a sudden they appear outside your box with a little bit of skill, and it's a goal. So it is something that we need to look at in this society, the development of our coaches.
Where do you see it, Edgar? What do you think?
Yeah, I go along with what Alvin is saying, but perhaps I have an approach that which might be a little more controversial than other people would want. And I think that some time ago, Alvin Anton, when he was technical director, had called a symposium of coaches that he thought was the best young, I think it was about 18 or so of them.
Yeah.
And he had asked me to come in to give some impressions of the time, just as we're doing here. And the point I want to make here came up in that symposium, you know. I asked these young men, what is the philosophy of Trinidad football? You know, because I myself struggling to see if I can get, how do we show ourselves on the football field, and that is how I am a Trinidadian will want to play. How I want the people looking on me, or looking at me, to understand, yeah, that's what I'm going to see. And, well, a lot of ideas came up, you know, for us to talk about. Most of what we were talking about, tactics and system and plans and so on. And then at the brunch break, the team spread up in two. And I was sitting in the center there, and I heard the discussion based on the point. It was disturbing to them, worrying them. Out of the blue, almost simultaneously, a group on this side, I think it was Angus Eves, was the man making. Almost in disgust, he said, you see me, football is a game where you express yourself. And then on the other half, I say, football is a game where the culture of the people can be seen, you know. And when you combine the two of them, I think we had something going there. Football is a game where you can express, and it depicts the culture of the people. That was the point the young fellow made.
Yeah.
And I thought, now, how do you get at, and this is my part, this is the part I'm always in trouble with. Sometimes it may Alvin. How do you bring a man from England, especially England, and let him come and coach Trinidad football with that type of philosophy?
Right.
You know, so I think that has been one of the stumbling blocks in our game. And it goes along with the other kind of thought. Sometimes I'm a little hard on people. I sort of a plantation mentality that we still have, that the other people better than us.
Right.
You know? And I have been glad that I think I have proven to myself, if not to other people, that that is not true. Now, we talk about playing, when we started to play against teams from abroad and so on, Alvin was coach of the team, and I think it was after Cummins, and he came and asked me, and he was coach, I was assistant coach. And he had gone away, to, I think, to prepare people for the 1994 World Cup, was it? The commentator.
No, this was to the 90 World Cup. I went to do the television and the radio.
Right. And in your absence, this team, Crystal Palace came here. Crystal Palace. They had just finished playing the final of the FA Trophy. They drew the first game against Everton, I think it was, and lost the other game 2-1. And then they came down here 2 days after to play against us, you know. In the first game, we drew 2-2. And I had seen, I don't know, I think it's a sort of instinct that people have in different types of whatever position you are in the football, whether you're coaching. And I saw what they were doing. And I endeavored from the bench to stop what they were doing, because I made 1 or 2 movements in order for that to happen. So it happened immediately. And then they saw what I did to stop them, and they used another tactic almost similar.
To come to yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What they were doing was they were getting the two midfield players to go wide and hit balls at two target men, and they were just laying the balls up to the midfielders to bang it at the goal. So in the first instance, I stopped them from the left midfield and the right midfield from getting the ball. And then they changed from that and they used the left back. And then I changed from that. I don't want to go too much in the tactic, but what it did, but we stopped them. In the second game, they were I mean, vexed when we drew the first game to all of them, because we almost had an amateur team. We had about 4 fellows who were playing professional.
Right.
So that hit the national, the professional pride. They came in the second game now. One of the fellas told me, I think it was Peter O'Connor, who had invited the technical committee team to his home for dinner. And he told me before the game started, the second game, Edgar, them fellas say, you're keeping the ball on the left for too long. I said, yeah? What do you think? Yeah, well, that's always a complaint. I say, well, do you expect me to tell them to stop doing that now? Anyhow, thanks for the advice, but you won't see any change in that, you know.
Right.
So I didn't even tell the fellas that. Talk about it, just mainly, the talk was mainly motivational, but to continue what we're doing. And we beat them 4-0. I don't think you remember. One man scored the 4, that was
Leonson
Lewis.
Yeah.
At one time they had a fight between 2 of their own players. So frustrated they were. At the end of the game, now I'm talking here, gentlemen, about, and listeners, about the comparison between a foreign coach and a local coach. The courtesy that they use when the losing coach come across to shake hands after the game and so on. I waited for the job, he didn't come. So we went into our dressing room, everybody elated. But for some reason or the other, somebody told me, look, coach out of the dressing room like he want to talk to me. So I went out to him. What the fellow was him? He tell me, you know, you might cause me to lose my job. You know, almost an amateur team beat me 4-0. Right. I don't know if I have a job after, you know. I say, well, but he asked me, have you seen us play? I said, no. You never see us play, no. And how did you know how to stop what we are doing? I don't know. I say it's just an instinct, I suppose, you know. Yes. And so no, I'm saying this because here it is. He is a professional, that he lives by that job, and we beat him 4-0, and he wanted to know how I know what they were doing. I'm saying all this, gentlemen and listeners, to say that if we are given the opportunity, and when I say opportunity, for instance, some time ago when Tobago boy was in again. Bertil became coach, I was technical. I had advised Mr. Warner, not only Bertil, but send top coaches in Trinidad to some of them foreign countries, not to learn football from them. But see, some of the things that we would not have is that they are playing 2 matches a week at a high level, and what do they do between these matches and after these matches and before these matches? Those kind of things we wouldn't know. So unfortunately, Bertil went, and I say unfortunately, he was the first one to go. And when he come back here, I told him that, you know, you went there because I had asked them to send you, you know, what do you have to say? What I would like you to do is call the coaches together and let them know what you learned. I don't know.
So we need to make some adjustment with coaching and try to get our local more involved with the players.
Yeah.
And we have the players.
Yeah.
Wilfred?
I would differ with because in my time,
that's what
we had proper coaches. Right. We started with Shell Coles under Doyle Griffith, right? Then when we went to St. Benedict's, we had Wouter. Then we went on to Brenner. So I am saying these coaches that we had, from Doyle transition to Wuta. Wuta had almost got people that were ready to go.
Yeah.
Right?
The polish was there ready. All you had to do put the sign on.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when Wuta left, there was Brenner have a team complete.
Oil.
So they get all the praise.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? Remember at one stage you were called the Brenner Boys.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody felt well. Thick.
Brenner
But the local man, which was Doyle,
He brought it on.
he didn't get no praise. Right? A lot of people didn't know about Doyle. Right? And that's how it goes. I listened to Edgar speaking there. I remember in Haiti. Now we had Edgar and Verity.
Right.
And we went to see Mexico play. Steve, you remember that. And after that, they keep asking us, this was Verity question to us. What could we do to beat Haiti? Not Haiti,
Mexico.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Right? And fellas trying to figure out all different ideas and things. And there was Edgar at halftime in the game. When we were going out, Edgar just walked to the team and he said, hey, all you just play what all you know to play. And fellas just get a whole relief. Because now we know that, all right,
I'm glad you say that because when Kevin, and big respect to Kevin was a great coach.
Yeah.
But they always says, anything Edgar said, listen.
Yes.
Always within the ranks,
Yeah.
listen to Edgar because he used to spot the little things that Kevin didn't even think about.
One of the things I want to mention again is that I remember I went to see Palaseco played the Army.
First game we played.
And in Palaseco.
Yeah, the first game we played against them.
And Palaseco score. I think it was the Jones boy, Eddie Jones score. Bam.
Bubbling up energy.
And 5 minutes in the game, Edgar pull off. Same Edgar Jones who score.
Mm-hmm.
And he switched. And he played 3 stoppers. And the people are wrong. Wanted to sacrifice Edgar for that move. Because they didn't see what Edgar was doing. And the Army was totally outplayed after Edgar did that. You see, and these are the things that I think too, most of our people here, we always felt the foreigners is the ones that have the know-how.
Right.
What happened to, as Alvin is saying, he go there and coach.
We give all the respect to the foreigners and not as much as our locals.
Yeah, so I think.
And you always say something like that, Narada, about in respect, from your travels.
Yeah, I guess the game has evolved and we tend to look outside because that is what we have access to and think that right home we don't have that. And I think what is happening with the team today is that we've seen someone that is local.
That's right.
Who has the image or the standard that we think the outside coach comes. So I always tell people, for example, we don't know what some of our top players' lifestyle is like abroad. So that is why we don't give them that respect. And it's how the world is today. The world today on TV, what we see is the image the young people today want to emulate. But we've never seen what Kenwyn Jones' lifestyle is like in England. And that way, I think if we have access to it, people tend to want to follow. Stephen Hart, fortunately for him, I believe the local players, whether the lowest level to the highest, believe he is to the same level as some of the coaches abroad. So they're playing for him. What happened with your generation was the local guys were still seen as we have that respect for him. You had the respect for your coach. Same with every other player here, even if he was a local. Today, I don't think they believe the locals are much better than the gap. It's too close. A coach could call a player, so there's no boundary. So sometimes the players think that's a friend. He's no longer superior. And I think that is one of the problems we have today.
Okay, we reached the point we need to take another break. We'll take another break. When we come back, and we'll pick up where we left off. We'll be right back.
Worldwide Safety Consultants Limited offers solutions to your immediate and future potential problem areas by providing you with a qualified team of safety consultants. Worldwide Safety Consultants Limited, building a reputation on quality and value since 1999. Located 23 Todd Street, San Fernando, Trinidad. Phone 868-657-1534 or 868-788-6955. worldwidesafety@yahoo.com.
Okay, welcome back, viewers. Still watching Field of Dreams, and this is Axe Television Network. Panel, I've got one for you. Everybody says, in our time, we didn't have nothing to do. We didn't have Game Boy, we didn't have television, we didn't have this, we didn't have that, and all we can do is play soccer. And on the other side of the mouth, they're not saying that we didn't have the technology they have now.
Correct.
To make them even better, because we used to run with rocks in our hands, trying to develop our shoulders and all this kind of stuff. So I want you guys to comment on that. Is it true what they're saying, that we didn't have nothing to do and that's why we were so good, or are they talking because they like to talk?
I personally believe that that's a dream. That's a philosophy that people are searching. They are in search of an identity to determine what is what and what era, right? I want to come back to a point that we're all making about the game that is football for Trinidad and Tobago. Edgar was talking about it being a culture. The first person who spoke about a culture of Trinidad was Everett Cummings, just before the 1989.
Right.
He is saying he wants to develop a culture. I wish he would have, because he's in the international scene, he was talking in relation to his own players at a point in time. But if Everett had expanded, he would have been able to tell you that culture is about movement, is about art, is about dance, is about music, is about drums. Look at the Brazilians. Look at the Nigerians. They have something in common with us. Because of this, and because of the beauty of their movement, and because of their ability to maneuver things, they become an attraction. And because of this, they are too much into themselves as people. I want to see how good I am. I want to see if I can do this better than everybody else. Not realizing that game is a team game. And while you're messing about here, there are a couple of people running here, there, and every day waiting for a pass, and your head is focused there. So it is a culture, but our culture must have been mixed with a behavioral pattern that will take the game forward.
Right.
One of probably the most exciting teams, local teams, that I have seen in all my career, and boy, that's too long to even talk about it, is Malvern. Malvern in the 60s, somewhere there. You couldn't get the ball from those guys. That ball will move. Carlton Franco was the absolute genius in that situation. And he would move this ball around and he would go search it. Clive Niles, Kelvin Barassa, Arthur Brown. These guys will be whipping this ball around. I was on the field present one day when they really knocked it out of us. And I said, you know what? Even today, I closed my eyes and said, you know, some of the games I'm seeing on English television and all over the world, these guys used to do this. Where did it go? Where did it go? So it is a culture, but it's a culture mixed with a behavior. This game is not about the individual. It is impossible. No one man could win it. Ask Georgie Best, ask Maradona. No one man could win it. What we need to do is to understand what the function is. And that's where our problem is. Still, even to today. Even to today. Edgar made the point just now, and I want to make the point. Systems do not win football matches. Players do. You could have whatever system you wanted. And again, the English is the ones who brought that to us in 1966. When they played this 4-2-4 with Jimmy Hurst and Roger Jones, and they played it like a robotical, and it worked for them in a World Cup. It never did since then.
That's true.
So Edgar, you feel the same way? Like
Yeah,
Alvin?
definitely. And the point you're making, the last point Alvin made here, England against Brazil in Mexico in 1970.
Right.
Okay. They really tantalized the English and so on, and everybody else, Brazil. And you know, we talk about here the difference in culture. I remember this, when the English team got back, they lost out to Brazil, and they asked Alf Ramsey coming off the plane. I always remember, what have you learned from Brazil? And we're talking about a cultural thing here now, eh? You know what he said? And he's right, because he's speaking like an Englishman. Brazil, I call it the 7 famous words of Alf Ramsey. Brazil could teach England nothing in football. It's purely culture he's talking about. If we were to apply to our game, I mean, our culture is established itself in music, in dance, in all the different, why not football then? You know, why not? And some people get put off. In fact, one of my good friends used to tell me, Edgar, how do you coach culture? I said, you don't have to. If I am a Trinidad coach, the Brazilian could come here and teach us culture because we almost similar. As Alvin said, the Nigerian, you can identify a certain style among us. But could you use the same thing with a German or an English coach?
Englishman, no, different.
He would not be able to get the best out of us because he doesn't understand that.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go and say, okay, we're playing a cultural practice session today. You know, and you want to know, you have the expression, you have the creativity in you. I want to try something today that they never saw before, you know. Like, sometime along the way, this fella from Brazil who did some work with you in the school. What's his name?
Clovis Oliveira.
He came in and at the time we were badly off and we were trying to recover from a lost game. I think it was in the Gold Cup.
Yeah, it was in the Gold Cup. It was in the CFU tournament to go to the Gold Cup.
And I remember, and that hit me. One morning, Clovis asked them to bring 50 tennis balls, you know. And the balls came, and the first half an hour of the game was juggling tennis ball. And you don't use your hand to pick it up, you know. You put on your boot too. So you could see how difficult it is. And some of the fellas took into this thing. And they were doing it, you know. And the remark he made now to demonstrate the cultural aspect of the game of the Brazilian, he said, Edgar, the fellas are looking so good, I think I am in Sao Paulo.
We used to do that as kids in Point, Wilfred.
Yeah.
Juggle tennis ball and all that, right?
Yeah. We did it with Conrad Braffett too.
Yeah,
Conrad did it as well.
Jump in with this discussion. What do you think? You think there is technology has changed, or not technology has changed, but because of the lack of technology in our time, make us better players?
I wouldn't say that. I am saying that I think we were more devoted to the game.
Well, they're saying that because
you look at a youth now. He playing football on the television,
on the internet, the game. Right?
Yeah, but he's not going outside and doing nothing. He's inside the house whole day with this thing, whole day. And I think that is killing it.
Well, that's what they're trying to say. They're trying to say that there's so much distraction, so many different things for the kid to do, that he don't go outside anymore.
That's true.
And do what we did because we didn't have anything to do, so we have to go outside. Is what
Well, you know, that happens all over the world as well.
Yeah.
You know, it is nothing strange. We're getting into the the new business of doing this. There's absolutely nothing. But before, I want to be able to say this, just to let you understand. There was a brainwave in 2005, 2006, where somebody blew somebody's mind, and I don't know who it is. But Jack Warner came up with an idea. I need to start a youth program. I never forgot it, right away. It was, and anytime Jack comes up with this, trust me, it's from somebody who told him. And he decided he would go for it. And that's when he brought Anton back home, who was working in the United States, and said, you do it. That's all he told him. Today's team has come straight out of that program.
That's right.
Yeah.
We went in 2004, we won the Little Caribbean Championships in 2005. We qualified for the World Youth Cup in Korea, in the under-17s. We qualified for Egypt in 2000. Same players, look at them. They're still on the field now as our senior team.
What was that program?
Huh?
What was that program?
Anton's program, running right through the system.
Right.
He was the coach of the first one, the technical director of the second one.
Okay.
Right. He was in charge of the program.
Yeah.
What has been lacking then is that nobody restarted it. Nobody went back to those under 15s and under 14s and started it. So therefore, the feeder system has sort of dried out a little bit. These guys are really on it and showing us that a little bit of dedication, a little bit of behavior, a little bit of good planning can get us the result. We've got some fine players right now.
We do.
I've got 5 minutes left. I want to give each of you guys a minute to express yourself, whatever you want to talk to our viewers on.
I would like to have the opportunity to say this. There has been one situation in my life, and I was the proudest time of my life as a Trinidadian. And that was when Trinidad and Tobago, were we Tobago? Yes. Played against, Sao Paulo, and with Pele and they here. And
who's that?
No, you're talking about...
What team was it again? When we
Pele
played
team.
against Pele here in the
Santos.
Santos, for the riots and so on. And I'm saying that to see if I can, the young people, to get the pride up. You know, we had this, when they could tear gas and all that sort of thing.
Right.
We were warming up just before the game, and Archibald was doing his own juggling. It wasn't as sophisticated as now with all this nice, pretty things and all. And it was then Pele saw him.
Yeah.
He ran across and he held up Archibald. And you play for Trinidad? He said, yeah. He said, no, me alone, he too. De Leon came across. Let me finish this. And De Leon came out. Both. They introduced me to him then. You know what he tell me? And I'm saying so, he ain't no my guy talk. Coach, if Archibald and De Leon in Brazil, they play for Brazil.
Yeah.
That is what I want to say to make people know how much our players, how good we are.
Right.
I personally would like to send a lot of messages to the people of Trinidad and Tobago with regard to our football. We need to pay attention to it. We have reached a stage where we must be competitive at all times. It's no longer Grenada or St. Lucia or Barbados. It is now Costa Rica, it's Mexico, it's the United States. We've got to retain the level that we are at this moment. We've got to develop a sense of attitude and responsibility, which would take those players there. You can't do it without good support from the administration. You can't do it with good support, without good support from a cadre of coaches who can serve you at all times with good information and help you to become better players. I think we are on a good run. We must try to keep it that way.
Well, I would just like to see the present coach take us to the next World Cup. I would feel very proud. I felt proud in 2006 when we went to Germany to support the
2016
Soca Warriors. And I would really, really like to see us go there. Probably I'll be able to make a trip again.
Free of charge.
Yes. So that is my greatest hope now, that we can really, really reach our next World Cup.
So
I think this would inspire more the youths to want to do that, to want to play the game. So this is one of the things that I would like.
Yeah. I will be very quick. I think the history is there, the statistics are there, the information is there. I think what is needed today is the mantra that I have for this year, which is make it known. So I would, if I could plead people who have all the information, if we could just find a way to get everything to the public for them to access. So our young players, our present players could look back and see what we had, what worked, so they could be motivated to go forward. Just make it known.
Okay, we have come to the end of another edition of Field of Dreams. I want to thank Axe Television Network for giving us the opportunity to bring this to our viewers. Viewers, thank you so much for allowing us into your homes. We hope you enjoy the program. Special thanks to Alvin. Thank you so much
You're very welcome,
for your inspiration. I've looked at you. I have played at the end of your career. I've played a little bit against you, and thank you so much for motivating me to reach heights.
You're welcome. I learned a lot from you too.
All right, Edgar, as my coach and with the national team, thank you so much for all your wisdom that you've passed on, and we really appreciate it. Thank you again.
Pleasure to work with you all.
Wilfred, thank you for the competition on the field to who can score more goals. Even though you bumped the score. I appreciate that so much, and also Narada, thank you so much, buddy, for being here. To my viewers, again, don't forget we got a Facebook page. You can drop us a line. We also have an email address, fieldofdreamstt@gmail.com. Drop us a line. At this point, the show is ended. Go in peace. Good night.